bonjour, and welcome to the Amateur Detective Club. This club is exactly how it sounds. A bunch of amateurs talking about their favorite mysteries. So if you encounter a real mystery or a murder, contact the proper authorities. Do not come to us. We do not know what we are doing. But enjoy the program. Allons-y. Let us begin.
Hello everybody, this is Tristan Miller, the Saucy Sleuth. Due to scheduling issues between Melissa and Tyler being in a play and me being on tour, we didn't have an opportunity to record a new episode. So here is one from our archives on our Patreon. It should be noted that on our Patreon we get a little bit more rowdy, so there might be some content and language that we normally don't have on the show, just so you all are aware. Thank you very much for listening, and this is a weird intro because this is not how we normally do it. I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order.
I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. I'm Tyler Riley, cop and a half.
I'm Melissa Meli, the spy.
And I'm...
Who are you?
Tristan.
Oh.
The Saucy Sleuth. So, briefly fell into a pit of what?
We are back on the Patreons.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to ABC
We are covering...
After Dark.
Yeah.
we are covering the Murder, She Wrote episode entitled Lovers and Other Killers.
I hardly know hers. This episode is brought to you by you. Congratulations.
You did
and
it.
Thank you. Yeah, you did it. You gave us $1.
Oh, look what my dollar got me!
I was hoping.
Oh, dear.
Oh, so Tyler, what is this character's name?
What character?
Hey!
You mean our patron?
Yeah, what's our patron's name?
I'm Jim Boy.
Okay, Jim Boy, what do you do for a living?
I'm a snack taster.
You're a snack teacher?
Taster.
Oh.
What's the most delicious snack you've had so far?
Pop chips.
Pop chips, alright.
Those are pretty
What
good.
flavor?
Cool Rich. Why all the questions, man?
I'm just curious about your life. We don't often get an opportunity just to talk to our patrons face to face, so I wanted to take the opportunity.
Okay, well, Jim Boy is horning in on my time, so let's...
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Speaking of horning in, this episode.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
This episode enraged me from my organs. Like, I was...
Your penis. You had an enraged penis the entire time. Completely understandable.
Yeah. Because I would have directed this so differently.
Oh my god.
It's something. It sure is something. So we open on a lady in her pearls
Yes.
but like in a nightgown in her pearls. It's like a nightgown evening dress. I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
very fancy. So we are meant to believe that this woman is very, very, very wealthy. Because only people who are wealthy sleep in their pearls. And then there is a burglar with a mask on that is rooting through her stuff. And he encounters her and strangles her to death with her pearls very quickly.
Yeah.
Just, it's like one yank and she's dead. So.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Then we meet Jessica, who has flown into town and met with an old friend of hers who has asked her...
Flame.
Yeah. who has asked her to do a lecture.
Yes.
At,
Played by Peter Graves.
yeah.
Famed actor from Airplane and Mission Impossible, the original series.
Yes, that's where he's from. Okie doke.
Yeah, and he's also been in, like, Men in Black 2. He's had a very illustrious career. He is unfortunately deceased, but he died at the age of 83. A very, very fine time to die.
Sure. Yeah, Dr. Edmund Gerard is his name.
Yes.
Wow, what a name that character has. Yeah. And they're very, they have a friendly little scene, and it's very weird in the airport. Back when you could go to the gate to pick somebody up.
Yeah.
Did you ever... I always had my grandparents, when I would fly into Texas, would come to the gate to pick us up when I was a kid. And no more. That is not a thing that can happen with security post 9/11.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Even before then, though, I didn't have that ever happen because I always flew into very busy and notoriously awful airports.
Oh.
Because the closest one for me was Philly International, which is, good God,
Whoa.
terrible. So we would just have people circling the loop to
Yeah.
Yep.
for us to come outside that we can just keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody ever came to the gate because someone was always in a car moving at all times.
I cannot say I was on an airplane before 9/11.
Okay.
I've never experienced any level of security other than...
Okay.
But what I can tell you, and I was thinking about this because someone posted a tweet on the Twitter box, I do remember going into restaurants and having smoking and non-smoking sections, though.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating to think about now.
I know. It's really wild. And of course there are still places there's certainly bars in the country that still allow smoking. And
There's bars in New York that do it. Are you kidding me?
well, they're not supposed to.
No, but I remember after hours at one of the places I worked that shall not be named, due to this story, the manager just started smoking a cigarette, and we were all drinking beers and smoking, and I was like, oh, so this is what the 50s felt like. I now miss it.
Yeah.
I still have a pack of cigarettes in my room. And it's just
just in case. Somehow some people have a gun in their drawer. You have a pack of cigarettes.
I'm gonna give you lung cancer. Ah!
Yeah, I'm gonna commit suicide, but the longest way possible. Sorry.
You'll feel this in 25 years. But no, they were props from a show, and I never threw them out because and this is Tyler logic. I know that cigarettes are expensive, so I feel bad just tossing them out.
Can I tell you? I recently bought a pack of cigarettes. It is in my drawer. I did but it wasn't out of anxiety or anything. It was this weird thing came over me when spring started to hit in New York. I was it's such a nice day out. All I want to do is sit on the roof and have a cigarette and a soda. And that's what I did. But it's one of those frustrating things of I wish you could buy cigarettes in packs of 4. Because I never want more than one.
That's so interesting. The entire logic behind it's such a nice day, I want to put poison in my lungs is so fascinating to me.
I don't know if you've ever had a cigarette, Melissa, but it does relax you. It's very relaxing.
I think it's just this... You know what? I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Is it sexual?
It was going to be, and I didn't... I'm just going to say it, because
it's after dark.
ADC after dark.
Right.
Yeah. Horny.
The sucking and blowing of something is quite relaxing.
Listen, I can do that. I can do the sucking and blowing with something that's not going to slowly kill me.
That you know of.
That I know of. Yes, exactly.
That's also fair.
But it is also one of those things of and I do understand all the health risks, etc. And I'm not, I know. I've never been an actual smoker. but it is one of those things of like there is much in a way where you would smoke a pipe or something. Like there's something really relaxing about like going onto the veranda and just like having a smoke.
Yeah.
And, like my old roommate and I used to smoke cigars a fair amount. And,
Okay.
like, chat.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is still like not good for you.
No, it's not. But like, yeah. I mean, I did that for my birthday this year. You know what that sound means, folks?
It's time for trivia again, and it is. Oh, what cake am I holding? Below. Ooh.
Oh goodness.
Sponge cake.
Melissa?
Pound cake.
No, Boston cream. Try again.
That's not a cake.
Next
that's
time.
a pie.
Well, I mean, it is a pie that is a cake.
You've never had a Boston cream cake?
No, this is a
It's
cake.
Yeah, there's a layered cake. It's a yellow cake with Boston cream and fudge on top. It is the best cake.
Yeah. I've actually never seen a Boston cream pie that wasn't a cake.
Yeah. I don't know why they call it a pie other than people from Boston. Mad dumb.
Don't alienate our listeners from Boston.
None of you so far.
Boston's a great
as far
place.
as we know.
Boston's a great place, and they're supposed to be running. We're recording this before before Patriots Day. This week is supposed to be the Boston Marathon, but it has been delayed until September. Anyway,
So she goes to, is it Berkeley or something?
No, it's a college in Seattle.
oh okay, we're in
But
Seattle.
before that, can we discuss the what the fuckness of her just holding this baby?
Oh my God, she is holding a
And
baby.
the slight racism.
Yeah, she is holding
Oh,
a baby
boy.
and speaking Chinese to these
Two nuns.
two nuns who have a
Yeah.
baby. I don't
And we say
understand.
Chinese because we don't know if it's Cantonese or
Mandarin.
so
Yes, I'm
we're-
sorry.
We're going to go by Chinese.
Yeah,
It's
I don't.
Mandarin, I believe. Because
Okay.
Ni Hao is Mandarin, I believe.
Okay.
Or is it both?
See?
I don't-
We don't know. So we go
I don't know Cantonese, but I know a little Mandarin. That is what I can say.
Right.
I'm a big Mandarin. Jim boy, get out of here.
And, she's just holding a baby, and then these two nuns appear. She speaks to them and hands them the baby back, and it's all very jovial. And then her friend, Dr. Gerard, says, "Sayonara," and she goes, "They're Chinese, not Japanese. Quit it." And then they go and leave.
Can I tell you, though? Sayonara has been absorbed so efficiently into English vocabulary that I never knew that it was Japanese. Like, I keep relearning that fact, like, every 3 years.
Oh.
That's fair. I didn't know it either until it was about, I want to say, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Because we had, this Disney book of, from, Epcot or something, where it was, how to say hello and goodbye in, a whole bunch of different languages.
That
and,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, because, yeah, it has been so ingrained in pop culture.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we leave the airport, go to his office, and we
Yep.
meet his secretary. And Jessica quickly picks up on the fact that she is really into him.
Just absolutely drenched. I'm so sorry.
But
But yeah, she's mad horny for this professor. Loves him dearly.
She may book his travel, but she just bought herself a one-way ticket to Bone Town. Am I right?
And doesn't she bring up of the fact that he bought something extravagant, like a pool or something? He recently bought something very not worth
buying.
Yeah. It was kind of like, oh, I just wanted to have it in case, but it's something absurdly expensive.
Yeah.
So yes, she scolds him a little bit, and he teases that she sounds like his wife, and she like has a little like, oh, she gets all flustered for a second, and Jessica is like, what's that about? So once he's out of the room, she says, so how long have you been in love with him?
And she's like,
what do you mean?
Silly, no, never me, no.
Yeah. So then she is like taking inquiries. She needs like someone to type for her. She needs someone to transcribe. So they do a little bit of a notice. They send a notice out very quickly, it seems. And then
to the college campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Right. And so she goes back to her hotel room, and at like 10 p.m., she's in her robe. This guy appears, like a young grad student appears at her door, and he's like, hey, I'm here about the position, and I know it's late, sorry about that, but I just want to get in here before everybody else does. Yeah. And she's like, I would really rather not. And he's like, I know, I'm a guy, and people don't often think of a man as someone who would be a good secretary or whatever, but I know you wouldn't hold my gender against me.
Yeah.
And she's like, ugh, fine, come in.
No, it's the fact that it's 10 p.m. And this is something an insane person does.
Yeah. So he, very quickly types some stuff up for her, and one of the things is he transcribes as she's speaking how she's trying to turn him down, saying that she would just be comfortable with an older woman, and but instead he types younger man, like, I'm so clever, and she goes, fine, come back at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Can I tell you, this character I was hoping, spoilers for the rest of I was hoping he was the person that was going to get murdered so badly.
Wow.
And can I tell you, he is such a paragon of a kind of man that thinks he's very charming, but is truly just being an asshole. And is not hot enough, in my opinion, to justify it.
Lies.
Oh,
I get that he's attractive, but he's not hot enough to not be an asshole.
He's so pretty to me that he is not attractive.
Exactly. It's like gone all the way around and be like, you're not a real person.
I felt the opposite, and I was like, this is the episode where Jessica gets it in, and I was so happy for her.
Oh, goodness.
She gets it in, so she's like pegging this young man.
Hey, whatever she's into. And don't put it, you gonna put that past Jessica Fletcher?
No. Not at all. But I do not like this man. I do not like him.
Oh, I don't like him. But
no.
I was hoping that Jessica would get some relief.
Oh, he was in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah, he's also the producer of, I believe, something
Boondock
insane.
Saints.
I'm really looking at it right now. He produced Boondock Saints and and a bunch of other stuff. He's mostly a producer now. He's still kicking.
Yeah.
He had a fairly long career. He also plays another character in Murder, She Wrote.
He does. On, 5 years later.
That's fun.
He plays a completely different character.
Or does he?
We'll never know until we get there.
Oh my gosh. We'll talk about the end. Anyway, but so this guy, it's okay. He looks way better with darker hair.
He's so horny for Jessica too. It's so evident that he's just like rock hard.
It's fascinating.
But he does do a good job. Like he, very quickly, like once he's granted the opportunity to show her what he can do, as far as the secretary, He does impress her.
He does. So the next day, she gives a lecture, and it's very, very animated and cute and funny.
She acts out multiple characters. She has a gun that says "bang."
Yeah,
and that I was wondering where, because that's from the title sequence. Also, I was like, when are we gonna get that?
Yep, we actually got a couple moments from the title sequence in this one.
Yeah.
So, yes. So she has the gun that says "bang." It's very cute. Everyone laughs. She seems like she's doing a real good job. And a professor who has been listening in on her lecture comes up and says, "Hey," and then talks about his wife, and then leaves with a very young, attractive woman who... And Jessica remarks to Dr. Gerard, who has come in by that point, like, "Do you suppose that's his wife?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, never mind. Don't worry about it. And so then later on, she's been working, and David Tolliver, who is the young man, has been typing for her, and it's, time to go home.
This is where... I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
This is where I gave him a shot, but he let himself in to her hotel room. Now,
to play devil's advocate, the maid let him in.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I love both of you. If either of you showed up to my apartment unannounced, not even in my apartment unannounced, I'd be like, "Are you okay? What is going on?"
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I don't understand why Jessica didn't fire him right then and there.
She does
pretty
tell him to not
do
because
it
she
again.
cannot deny the animalistic attraction.
Oh my god.
I ship them so hard. Just a one-night ship. An overnight cruise.
But he does, at the end of the night, say, "All right, why don't we grab a bite to eat?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't think I can deal with pizza and beer or whatever you young people eat." And he suggests this really expensive French restaurant, and she's like, "Can you afford that?" And he says, "No, but you can," which I was totally grossed out by. But she says, "Okay," and they go out to dinner, and he's very flattering towards her, and it becomes very clear how thirsty he is for Jessica. And
may I talk about a moment in the
please do.
Scene?
Yes.
There's a moment where he grabs her hand.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Andrew, who is the actor playing, what's his name?
David.
Yes. Clearly made the choice to grab her hand on two different lines. And so in the edit, there's a continuity error.
Oh.
So it looks like he grabs her hand, brings his hand back, and then grabs her hand again. Which is, I'm like, that... You gotta just pull back at least a little bit if you're grabbing her hand twice. You just met.
That's funny.
Just met.
And to be fair, he does pull out his wallet to pay and says,
a little worried.
I was
hoping.
Yeah. And was saying, "Hey, I was just kidding." And she's like, No. For real, I got this. And then, okay, fine. They seem to be having a pretty nice time. They seem comfortable. Okay, whatever. And they get out of the restaurant, and a detective pulls up and says, "David Tolliver, you're under... I need to bring you in for questioning." And he's like, "Well, why?"
Ultimate cock block.
Cop block, if you will.
Yes. So he says, "I need to bring you in for questioning about the murder of... what's her name?" Yep.
Yes, the Pearl Woman.
Miss Bouvier or some random...
Yeah.
It began with a B, right?
Don't remember.
I would like to talk about this detective.
Okay.
Such a good performance. Love this man. Having absolutely none of any of this garbage.
Oh, yeah.
He is not like, he just does not care. I love him so much. He's like, no, you just gotta come in. I don't know what to tell you. You don't get to not come in to the police station. You're not gonna charm your way out of this. It's really funny.
Yeah. So yes, this, he's being looked into for the murder of the older woman whose name I cannot find. And Jessica is like, what? And it turns out he did know her, and they were friends, and it is very unclear exactly what was happening, but it seems that she was giving him money, and that his fancy car had come from her. Mm-hmm. So they're very suspicious of him. And he answers other questions, and they release him because they don't have evidence to put him under arrest. And he tries to explain it to Jessica the next day, and she's like, okay, I mean, this does sound a little weird, but like, I guess okay. And like, she does not think that he is the killer. She is pretty convinced of that. She thinks that it sounds a little weird and off, but doesn't think that, like, maybe he's a con man, but he's not the killer. And then is it at this point that she gets the phone call from Lila after he leaves? Pretty soon after this.
For the sake of argument.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
It's the next notable thing that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gets a phone call from this woman who's pretty rude.
Yes.
Which I loved. She's like, once again, I love a bratty person. She's like, shut up. I have important information for you. Come on. You gotta trust me.
I can prove to you that David did not kill this woman, but you gotta come meet me in this very seedy sounding place. At 10 p.m.
Yard.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not gonna come. And I'm thinking in my brain, Jessica, you're absolutely gonna go. You always do. This is your entire thing.
Why deny yourself this?
Yeah. So she does go, and we see her, Lila, this woman, get off the phone. And her husband comes over, her estranged husband comes over and is like, are you on the phone with a man? And she's like, what's it to you? Blah, blah, blah.
And they get into a fight, and she's like, you're hurting me, because he grabs her arms in a way that's not pleasant.
Yeah.
Right.
And everyone in this bar is just fine with this confrontation.
Yeah.
It's the 80s.
It is. It's technically of course. 91. 90 to 91 is when this was airing. Thank you.
Was it?
Episode aired November 18th, 1984.
Really? Mm-hmm. Then what am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Poirot.
You're thinking
of
Poirot.
Poirot was 91.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I got confused.
So
it is the 80s. Never mind.
Yeah, it's the 80s.
Grab women all you want in the 80s, I guess. Tyler!
Hey, I wasn't born then. I didn't make the rules.
So yeah. And then she evades him by going and sitting down at a table with another person and putting her hand down in front of her face. And he's like, where'd she go? It's real bizarre. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
No,
I
did not.
Strange.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's nuts.
So yes, she does go meet her at the specified time and place. And as Lila appears, she is clearly stumbling, and then she falls over, and there is a knife in her back.
Yeah.
And she is dead.
Yeah.
So Jessica calls the police, and our friend, the detective, shows up, and he is convinced.
Her a cup of coffee, which I really like.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like, there's one thing I need after shock. It's a cup of joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, it knocks you right back into reality.
Should have been a hot cup of David, if you ask me, but...
Oh, boy. This guy.
Best part of waking up is penis in your cup.
Oh. That is way too much to wake up to.
So much.
Having a penis? Yes, it does. It aches me every day.
Oh, gosh.
Emotionally.
Maybe try ice
physically.
next time. Maybe try ice next time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nothing like a cool singular ice cube on a penis. I'm so sorry, Melissa. We should have never made the rule that we can be nasty on the
I know.
On the Patreon.
Don't worry. I just dissociate. I just dissociated for a minute.
You're just like, I'm thinking about ice cream or...
Mm-hmm.
Well, that being said, you did allude to a blowjob earlier, so...
When?
Who is without sin?
That wasn't what I was alluding to.
Yeah, you nasty.
Come on.
So...
She was obviously referring to brisket.
Clearly. How you suck and blow into brisket. So Lila's dead, and isn't David also the suspect for that as well?
Of course.
Yes, and Jessica tries to tell the cop it obviously can't be David because this woman was about to give me information to clear him, and the cop was like, "No, that's just a ruse, another part of his master plan." And Jessica's like, "No."
Yeah, basically. It's the whole thing. But immediately we start getting suspicious of the husband because he's threatened to kill her multiple times. And...
yeah, which should be a red flag.
Yeah, just generally. Especially because it's always the husband. So then you get the story from David, who says, listen, I did kind of ask her to tell you that she was my alibi, but she and I had kind of gotten involved, which goes against his whole, I like older women thing, but whatever. She and I were really into each other. There was really something that was starting to be there. And she was separated from her husband, blah, blah, blah. And then you get, Jessica goes and meets with the husband, at a pool where he's swimming.
Yeah, which I'm on board with him. He has a tight body. He's in some very short swim trunks. He's got big arms, cute butt. I'm on board with him.
In David's defense, we don't get to see him at a pool.
Okay, all right. No, this
also
guy...
David isn't a woman grabber.
That's true. But can I tell you what's funny? This character also named David. They couldn't think of another name.
Wait, is that really the husband's name?
Yes!
That cannot be.
Oh my gosh.
There's two Davids in this episode.
Amazing.
What?
Yeah. I believe so. On IMDb, there's two Davids credited.
I have to see this because
That's amazing. But while we're looking that
oh
up,
my goodness, why? Is this the dude? Yeah, I think that's the dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Tyler, you were saying?
She goes to interrogate the husband. He's just like, who are you? Who are you to be in my business? And she's like, I'm nosy.
Yeah,
which my favorite moment out of the whole series, because I'm like, okay, at least she cops to it.
Oh yeah,
she's just I love it.
She's self-aware.
Yeah,
she knows who she is.
And she's also just like, you seem more upset about these questions than about your wife being dead.
Yeah,
which also
cold-blooded
facts.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he
alludes to the fact his wife was sleeping around with a whole lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
And
then he reminds her that she has another lecture to do.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, at one point before he does that, he says, she's like, you threatened to kill her a whole bunch of times. And he says, I also said that I would win an Olympic medal, and I didn't do that either. It's like,
oh yeah, he was like, I'm real great on the follow through. I was like, way to dunk on yourself, dude.
I mean, if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
I'm a loser. I don't know what to tell you. I can't even complete a sentence.
But yes, so he does say, hey, don't you have another lecture to teach? And she looks at her watch, and
her
she's
eyes
like,
go,
yeah. Oh, in fact, I do.
Oh, speaking of, when she sees Lila's dead, her face, it's some of those broad acting in the show. It's like also appropriate, because if you see someone that's just been murdered, you would be in shock too. But she does like the whole like mouth agape, but her eyes, she's just like, and it's just very, it was just like, oh, what a beautiful campy performance. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So Jessica runs to her class, her lecture, apologizes for being late, and then starts on, like, let's get in the mind of the killer. And then goes in on the dude who, the guy who was the professor who had greeted her after the last class, who is in this lecture as well. And she's interrogating him, basically, implying that he was the one who, like, he was also involved with Lila. Now, was Lila the woman that he met at the end of the class before? Because I couldn't tell.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell, like, it happened so quickly, but yeah, my suspicions were that it was her.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, basically, she's interrogating him. It's real weird and pretty transparent. And although she's trying to make it look like an exercise for the rest of the class. And then what happens after this class?
She goes back home or to her hotel or wherever she's staying and finds the note that's been left for her by David, saying that the professor wants to meet with her at his office at like 9:00 or something.
Right.
Which does that mean he let himself in again?
No, he was there working.
Yeah.
It was pre-established that he would be working for her.
Okay.
Yeah. So she does go, David had taken a phone message for her.
Yeah.
About allegedly from this professor saying, hey, meet me here at this time. She goes and she meets a hooded figure who tosses her down the stairs.
Mm-hmm. And he says, if you only knew the power of the dark side.
Yes, exactly right. But this is also a moment that we get in the title sequence, is her being shoved down the stairs.
Was that a Pink Floyd reference?
No, Tyler,
it's a Star Wars.
I only talk about Star Wars. You know this.
Okay.
Now,
like a Palpatine, right?
You understand? Yes. Okay. Or you could say it's a ring wraith, or a Dementor, or I don't know, a Klansman with a bad washing machine. You could say it's a million things.
Goodness.
But I decided to go with a Palpatine.
Okay, yep. I just wanted to make sure I understood the joke.
Well, it wasn't a joke, it was a reference, which are the laziest kinds of jokes, and I hate that we're spending time on it.
Well, fine. She tumbles down the stairs.
Yeah.
Just like in Princess Bride. Another reference.
There you go. So, she goes to the hospital or whatever, and they check her out to make sure she's okay.
She goes to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, what a great title for a place. It's like, emergency room. We know exactly what happens. Emergencies happen in here, if you can believe.
Room is a little misleading because there are so many rooms in emergency rooms.
Jessica's in the emergency room.
Yes.
And she's okay.
She's fine.
Yeah.
Got a little banged up. Couple bruises.
She's a tough broad.
Yeah, she is.
And then this is where everything comes together, right?
I think so.
Yes, because the detective is there. Ed shows up. Edmund shows up, and he reveals that David's alibi of being with Lila that night was false because he was with Lila all night.
Right.
Nice.
And it's like,
way to go, both of them.
Grief. Yeah.
Hold up. Her husband's name is Jack.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
David.
Who's David?
David, I think, is I don't know. There was another character named David, though.
Yeah, that's my thing, though. Like, why name two... Whatever.
Okay. Anyway, I digress. It's not that important. But yeah, so David was alone that night. It turns out that Dr. Gerard was helping Lila out and did kind of have an interest in her because she was young and pretty. But yeah, it had mostly been a collegial relationship, like an advisory relationship. But yeah, he had been with her that night, and they had gone to this particular restaurant because it was out of the way of the campus. And then Jessica put something together. I think she apologizes to the professor who she had been.
But sorry, we also get information about the car that almost ran Edmund off the road.
Right.
That's what it is. And it was a blue sedan. And it's much like, in fact, Dr. Gerard's blue sedan. So she apologizes to the professor that she had accused, basically. And then she goes to meet with the secretary, Amelia. And it is... Oh, well, first she meets with David, who she's like, I don't know, maybe you did do it. And he says, listen, I really didn't. And then he says something about the person who called and left the message to go meet the professor. And she says, wait, what did you say? And he's like, the person who went and left the message. She's like, so it wasn't clear whether it was a man or a woman? And he's like, oh, well, actually it really wasn't clear. I couldn't quite tell. And so she goes and meets with Amelia. Mm-hmm. And it comes out that, in fact, Amelia had picked up on the fact that that Dr. Gerard was spending a lot of time with Lila and was getting very jealous. And she went to spy on them because she knows that she knew where he was going out to eat because she deals with all of his receipts and stuff. And that she, in fact, because Jessica is saying, well, it could have been Dr. Gerard that killed her because he drives a blue sedan. She's like, well, so do I. Mm-hmm. And it becomes clear. Amelia was the person who gave Jessica the call and tried to disguise her voice, who pushed Jessica down the stairs because she was getting too close. And that she was the one who killed Lila.
And I would like to point out that the detective at some point comes to Jessica and is like, oh, by the way, we found the killer of the old woman. It had nothing to do with...
Yeah.
With David.
It was such a throwaway thing.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, by the way, we figured that one out.
The old woman was just killed by a random burglar.
Yeah.
No, okay. So David goes to see Jessica off at the airport, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
With this really cute teddy bear.
Sure. And it's like, listen, I'm so attracted to you. And Jessica's like, could we not, please? I'm really not into this. And she's like, he said, please send me a copy of your book anyway. And she says, I might do you one better. You might be in it. And he says, are you going to make me a suspect, a victim, the killer? And she says, I haven't decided yet, very pointedly. Mm-hmm. And then the episode closes with a close-up on his face looking very menacing. Yeah. It was a very Ted Bundy moment to me. It was very
you didn't think it was like a look of longing and like wanting.
It was more like the look of, I might kill you later. Or someone else, or many people. That's what I saw.
For murder.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. It can always be both.
I looked up, and this character never appears again. And I was like...
Which is a shame.
He plays a completely different character. He plays a doctor.
Right. But this character never comes back, and the way they ended that episode is so ominous. And it's like, what? Really? You're not going to follow through? Okay. All right. Murder, She Wrote, I guess so. Cool.
I was looking up. Oh gosh, I lost the page. Okay. No, you guys keep talking.
Overall, good episode, more or less. I would say an average episode, like a perfectly adequate, like a 3 out of 5. Like, fine enough. I liked seeing Airplane Man, and I liked the lectures. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, but it was a little sloppy vis-a-vis the mystery itself. I liked Jessica a lot in this one. I thought she was in good form.
Yes, top-notch Jessica.
I will say, what really popped for me, though, was the music in this one is fantastic. It was really lovely. They had a couple of renditions of the theme that were done in different ways, much like Poirot does, and it was really lovely. Also, it made me think about Angela Lansbury's accent more. She has a very distinctive voice, being both British and American. Right. It's very, because she hits some words differently than others, and it's not consistent, and I'm like, that's fascinating. Really lovely.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good performance from her also.
Yeah. I was kind of mixed on this one because it was really fun. I had a good time, especially, the lecture was a blast. The gun that goes bang, yeah.
She did a bang-up job.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to also give it a 3 out of 5 because it got taken down for me by the throwaway of the murder at the beginning. I didn't like that meant nothing. That was... I mean, gosh, it was just such a lost opportunity. And the ending, frankly, was so bizarre. Because I'm okay with having this morally dubious character, but, like, it just kind of went in such a weird place. I don't know. I was very unsatisfied. It left me so unsatisfied. Much like the character of David.
Unsatisfied.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt, unsatisfied, much like David, because I too have had a thing for Angela Lansbury for many years, to the shocker of no one.
Love it so much.
Can we talk?
What?
There's this bit that Craig Ferguson used to do on his show, where he made the point that Angela Lansbury and Paul McCartney look similar. Are you attracted to Paul McCartney?
Not at all. Not in the slightest.
Fair enough.
All right.
But I give it a 2, much for the reasons that were discussed. Like, I did not like the throwaway of the opening case. Like, it just... Is that woman's murder? Like, it just seemed meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also because I just want Jessica to, live her widowed life, get back out there, start seeing people.
Yeah, I was hoping that she and her old friend were gonna, like, somehow get together.
No, she needs a young man. She needs to train somebody. Because I don't want to see her in a long-term relationship. Like, I want her to just be free sexually. Just own her life in that way. That's what I want for her.
Amazing. It's actually implied that she and her professor, or the Dr. Gerard character, had at one point maybe had an interest, and her husband had told her, you chose wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly went on a couple of dates at some point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I did look into a bit of this on the Murder, She Wrote wiki.
Great.
So take that with a grain of salt for the information that I'm about to read off about this episode. This was evidently the first regular episode to be filmed and may have even been a second pilot to the series. As you notice, the typeface for the opening credits is noticeably larger and wider than any of the other episodes. The episode itself contains 2 sequences used for the opening credits, not seen in the pilot or in the Jessica typing sequence. And the closing credits are run slightly differently. There is a break between each credit card. There are fewer guest stars on this show than any other, with several bit players not credited at all.
Yeah. IMDb does not have a whole lot of people credited for it. That's true. I hadn't noticed many of those other things, but that's really fascinating. That's really interesting. Because Jessica really is in true top Jessica form in this. This is like a very... it's just very peak Jessica Fletcher.
Yeah, this would make sense that it would be like the first after the pilot, now that you bring that up.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of moments that really establish her character. Like the whole thing with the nuns was like clearly meant to go, okay, she can make friends with literally everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a character moment that doesn't make sense plot-wise.
I understand why they used what they did use as the pilot, because, I mean, not the mystery as much as the, like, establishing her as a writer.
Yeah.
Part that makes a lot of sense, but yeah, I suppose you could have done that with this episode as well. Yeah, interesting.
There was also a bit. There was like a brief mention. I believe it was at the dinner where she like brings up like someone who's like more famous than her, and she says Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
Right.
And it harkens back to me. She did a film where she played Elizabeth Taylor's sister, National Velvet. Oh. And they ride horses, and it's great.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they had been in a film together. I didn't realize she was in that. That's so funny. I, of course, know she was in stuff earlier in her career, but I associate my first memories of Angela Lansbury are from Murder, She Wrote. So she kind of always
that makes
exists.
Sense.
Yeah.
Mine is Anastasia.
Oh, all right.
I hear her voice and I'm like, oh, it's the Duchess.
Yeah.
That's all I think.
I think for me it was either Bedknobs and Broomsticks or Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, right. She's in that. I forget.
Yeah, I think I saw Bedknobs and Broomsticks after first seeing Murder, She Wrote, and I definitely saw Beauty and the Beast after as well.
So,
yeah.
I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to a close. Gavel sound.
Boing.
Oh, God.